Every technological revolution forces humanity to confront the same uncomfortable truth. We are very good at building tools. We are much less disciplined about deciding how those tools should shape us. Artificial intelligence is no exception. It is the most powerful cognitive instrument humans have ever created. It can analyze, predict, simulate, optimize, and scale at speeds that dwarf human capacity. And because of that power, it has reignited an old assumption that intelligence alone is enough to guide progress. It is not. Today on A4 Digest, I want to argue something deliberately simple yet deliberately difficult to accept. AI cannot teach integrity, and no amount of intelligence compensates for its absence. Integrity is not efficiency. It is not accuracy. It is not optimization. Integrity is alignment between values, actions, and consequences. It is the willingness to accept responsibility for outcomes, not just outputs. And that quality has never been programmable. AI systems optimize for objectives. They are extraordinarily good at it, but they do not choose those objectives. Humans do. Every algorithm rejects a value choice, often implicit, often unexamined. What is measured, what is rewarded, what is considered success, and what is written off as acceptable collateral. When AI systems fail ethically, it is rarely because the technology malfunctioned. It is because human priorities might have been misaligned. We often talk about AI bias as if it were a technical glitch, but bias is not a bug, it is a mirror. Algorithms learn from historical data. That data encodes our decisions, our exclusions, our hierarchies, and our blind spots. AI does not invent these patterns, it amplifies them. Which means integrity cannot be added after deployment. It must exist before design. This is where innovation becomes a moral activity, not just a technical one. Innovation is not neutral progress, it is intervention. Every new system changes incentives, redistributes power, and alters behavior. Whether those changes uplift or erode human dignity depends on decisions made long before code is written. This is why integrity matters more than intelligence. Elite athletes understand this distinction intuitively. 1. Performance without integrity feels hollow. 2. Winning without fairness is unsatisfying. 3. Advantage gained through deception corrodes trust. Sport only matters because we believe effort, courage, and honesty still count. When those values disappear, the spectacle loses meaning. Innovation is no different. In technology, the temptation is always acceleration. Faster models, larger data sets, greater scale, wider deployment. But acceleration without ethical anchoring magnifies harm. Small misalignments become systemic failures. Minor exclusions become structural injustices. Temporary shortcuts become permanent damage. The faster the system moves, the more costly correction becomes. Integrity introduces friction, and that is precisely why it is so valuable. It forces pause, it demands justification, it invites disagreement, it tolerates slower growth in exchange for long-term trust. From a purely technical perspective, this looks inefficient. From a human perspective, it is essential. There is a reason why societies regulate medicine, engineering, and aviation more heavily than entertainment technology. Because when systems touch bodies, lives, and futures, the margin for ethical error shrinks dramatically. AI increasingly occupies that same territory. It influences hiring decisions, medical diagnoses, educational pathways, credit access, and legal outcomes. It shapes what people see, believe, and prioritize. And yet, ethical responsibility is often diffused across teams, companies, and abstractions. No one feels fully accountable, and that is where integrity dissolves. Integrity cannot be crowdsourced. It cannot be delegated. It must be embodied by individuals willing to say no when saying yes would be easier, cheaper, or more profitable. This is uncomfortable work. It rarely receives applause, but it is the work that prevents progress from becoming predatory. Altruism plays a crucial role here. not as sentiment but as constraint. Altruism asks a question that optimization avoids. Who is this for, and who might it harm? It centers the most vulnerable user, not the most profitable one. It evaluates success not only by scale but by consequence. In this sense, altruism is not anti-innovation, it is pro-human innovation. There is also a deeper psychological risk we rarely discuss. When humans defer moral judgment to machines, they weaken their own ethical muscles. Responsibility erodes gradually. Decision-making becomes procedural rather than principled. People begin to hide behind systems rather than stand behind choices. This is not a technological failure, it is a human one. The future will demand more integrity, not less. As AI systems become more capable, the cost of ethical failure increases. Trust becomes harder to earn and easier to lose. And once lost, it is almost impossible to automate back. The organizations, institutions, and leaders who endure will be those who embed ethics deeply, not as compliance checklists, but as cultural norms. Integrity is slow. It resists shortcuts, it complicates narratives, it demands consistency, but it is also what makes innovation sustainable. Intelligence can take us far. Only integrity determines whether where we arrive is actually worth inhabiting. AI will continue to reshape how we work, learn, and decide. It will not tell us who we should become. That responsibility remains human. And in a reality that is increasingly defined by machine intelligence, the most radical act may be to insist on something machines cannot generate. That is moral courage. And so AI cannot teach integrity, but it will constantly test whether we have any. Until next time.